Hello YouTube, and thank you for tuning in. Today I'm very excited to be able to offer you a review and first look at the brand new Hawk Innovative Tech B-Size Solvent Trap Kits. Before we get started, a couple of things. First, my thanks to Jerry and the folks at Hawk for providing this product to me for this review. Second, as I've said in the past, I completely support the constructive intent statements on Hawk's website. This product was provided to me as a solvent trap, and I will not be modifying it for any other purpose. And thirdly, as you can see, I hope, this 9mm here is unloaded. And we'll be using that for a sort of prop here in a few minutes. Alright, with that out of the way, this is how your product is going to arrive, nicely packaged, very durable cardboard container. You're going to get the very nicely done instruction sheets with configuration recommendations for your solvent trap. And you're going to receive what I think now has become pretty much a hallmark of HIT, which is the fact that they include with all their solvent traps a pocket constitution. And you know, take a look at this. You know, we all know the Second Amendment, I'm pretty sure, but have you read the First Amendment? Take a look. You know, it's freedom of speech, very important. All right. Now let's take a look at this brand new product from Hawk. There are a great number of similarities in the design of this product and the much larger D-size product here. Okay, so let's first look at some of the similarities. Maybe the first thing that you're going to notice is that, as with the D product, Hawk has included a spare pre-drilled spacer cap and spacer retained by the little Allen screw here. We're going to take that off. Just like so. Okay. This particular example, which is for a 22 caliber size bore brush, is the all aluminum version, which means the tube and threaded end caps are 6061 aluminum, as are the spacers and internal pre-drilled spacer caps. So let's take this apart here and take a look at exactly what's inside. Bear with me, this will come off here. Now, before we dump out the internals here, this is the end that is threaded to accept the Allen screw that retains the the spare spacer and spacer cap. Of course, it's not drilled all the way through. One of the things you'll notice that is different from the D-size product is that this sort of has this extension or shoulder right here. Okay, and that corresponds with a relieved area inside the tube right about here. They just sort of line up together. And because of that relief area, Hawk has made the tube compatible with accessories from other vendors that are designed for B-size solvent traps. Okay, very thoughtful to have them do that, I think. Now let's take the internals out. All right. Now, I have previously removed the wave spring and the filter screens that are normally included with this, just to make the on-camera work a little bit easier for me. As with the D-size product, which is right here, right, the spacer and the spacer cap, you'll notice that because the lip area of the spacer cap is perpendicular to the center line of the spacer cap, you get that very nice tight fit there. Okay, that same production quality carries through on the B size. If you can see that, just nice sharp flat edge there, and it mates just perfectly. Just outstanding. Very nicely done. Now, another commonality of design is that the D-size products use color coding. All the solvent traps use a color coding system to identify the material types and diameter. So here you have black for the aluminum spacer, and similarly anodized aluminum black for the B size. So black means an aluminum spacer regardless of the form factor. Likewise, we have what I'll call natural gray for the D size spacer cap, and we have natural gray for the B size spacer cap. Okay, so reassembly is going to be very simple. Just match up your colors as you would with the D size product. Cleaning is also going to be just as easy because you're going to have everything break down into the 4 basic component parts. You know, the spacer cap, and the tube, and the end caps. That's it. So easy to clean, easy to maintain, easy to configure. Now with the D-size product, when you go to reassemble it, you can use the sort of, you know, stack and pack method. Simply stack everything up, slide the tube over it, right, and screw on your end cap, and you're in business, just like that. Very, very fast. Okay. You need to exercise just a little bit more finesse when you assemble the B-size product, and that is because if you can see internally, you might just get a look here. There are really 3 internal dimensions on the tube. You have the native internal dimension here, which corresponds to this diameter of the spacer. And then you have the area that is relieved for the shoulder here, which is essentially in this area right here. And then you have the area with the threads, which is right about here. Okay, so the recommended technique, and the one that I found that works really well, is not so much stack them up and slip the tube over, because you might get the spacers shifting a tiny bit and they get caught on the little ledge here where you get the transition from the native internal diameter of the tube to the relieved area here for the shoulder of the end cap. So what I do is I simply drop in, you can hear it just clunk in there, a couple of spacers. Okay, now gravity is our friend here, physics is our friend. These will tend to drop in with the pointy end, I guess I will call it, for lack of a better term, facing down. So you can drop these in. Okay, and they'll nest correctly. Stack up. Put in another one. And a couple more spacers. And you can see I'm holding the tube at about a, 45-ish degree angle. I'll put in another spacer. end cap, oops, spacer, we'll put in one more spacer because we can, and then there you go, everything's in, and then boom, you're done, just like that. Okay? So it's not quite as fast as the rack and stack sort of method, but I'd only practiced this a couple times, and you know, it's pretty straightforward. And again, tilt the solvent trap at a slight angle like so, and recognize that when you drop in your spacer cap, it's going to want to fall down, as I said, sort of pointy end first. All right. So it makes the configuration pretty straightforward. Now, although we don't have a 1/2 by 28 threaded tube cap here, Hawk makes available a 1/2 by 28 for a 13/16 by 16 inch adapter with a wave spring, and it just screws on like so. Okay. Now, of course, the biggest difference, we've talked about some of the similarities, the differences in reassembly, but the really big and fundamental difference is the overall form factor itself. Okay. The B-size product they all come in under 6 ounces. They're just over 1.25 inches in diameter, 1.26 inches, and they're 5.6 inches in length. So we'll take our 9mm here, which is empty, and just take a look at how pleasing that aesthetic is, right? I mean, so much less mass, weight, and overall size to have to deal with when you're talking about cleaning your firearm. Great product, right? Very nice, but you don't need the volume that you need for rifle cleaning, which is what this is really designed for, I think, that you do for cleaning a handgun. Smaller barrel, you're going to put less fluid through, so this is an ideal size and form factor. I just think it's just really, really nicely done. Okay, you know, there's another sort of comparison like so. Hawk has really come through. I think for rimfire shooters, this is just an absolutely ideal choice. Rimfire guns are even lighter weight, much lighter weight than, say, a traditional semi-automatic like this. And this is just going to be a perfect accessory to throw in with your other gun cleaning products and tools. And again, it's going to travel very nicely with your firearm. Okay, I think they've done an absolutely wonderful job as far as that is concerned. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the price of the product. This product retails on the website for $155. The threaded adapter is $15, so you have an overall cost of $170. Now, the B-size, I'm sorry, this is the B-size product, right? Okay. Now, the D-size product ships for $165. And if you get it with the 1/2 by 28, you don't need the adapter. And I think that's available for the all aluminum products. So some people are likely to say, well, wait a second here, what's going on? If it's half the size or 2/3 the size, how come it isn't 2/3 the price? You know, if I buy a large pizza, extra large pizza, it's more expensive than a small pizza, right? By some linear proportion or whatever. Well, in manufacturing, and I come from the manufacturing environment, that's not really the case, because even though you have slightly less material cost here in the production of the B-size product, yes, the spacer caps, are smaller on the B-size product than on the D-size product, as you can see here. But the amount of machine work is pretty much identical. And there is more machine work involved on the B-size product because of the three relief areas that are required. The threaded area, two relief areas, the threaded area, of course, and then the area for the shoulder, or extension as I call it, right here. And were Hawk not to design it this way, then our ability to marry this product to third-party accessories wouldn't be possible. And then you really wouldn't have the flexibility of the product that I think we all really want. So, the best analogy I can use is when you're shopping for a pair of shorts, for summertime. And you buy a pair of shorts and then you look at the same brand, say for long pants, and the price is going to be pretty much the same, if not identically the same, because most of the labor is, in stitching and assembly of the product, occurs sort of from the knee up, right? I mean, that's the pockets and the stitching and the belt loops and all that sort of stuff. It's the same idea when it comes to the B-size solvent trap. Yes, it's smaller, and yes, there is physically a little less material, but there is by no means less machine work. And then you have to consider the design costs, prototyping, and all the work that goes into bringing a product to market. And if you've ever been involved in that process, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's essentially the same price as the D product, but I think it is a big step forward for people who want a product that is more appropriately sized for their pistol, a 22, in this case 9mm, I showed you with the 9 here, or a 45. Really makes a lot more sense, I think, than the big brother here, the D-size product. As with all the Hawk products, you have the highest possible production values. You have the pre-drilled spacer caps with the beautiful 90-degree angle on the lip there relative to the center line, so you get a nice tight fit on the spacers. You get the spare spacer cap and spacer, and the ability to configure the product as in terms of any way you want as far as the filter screens are concerned, because that's another design commonality. You configure the product the way you want and put it together and go ahead and use it. So very, very nice as far as that's concerned. And lastly, I've talked about this many times, the design commonality, which means that all the B-size products, the internals, the spacer cap and the spacer, right, are going to be the same size. So once you have your tube and end caps, you simply get the, in this case, I think you're simply going to need the spacer caps you need should you have a different requirement for a larger or smaller size bore brush. So very thoughtful. We're not being forced into another complete purchase if our cleaning requirements change. So again, my thanks to Hawk for providing the product to me. I think it's a real home run. Just a jewel of engineering. When you see these in the flesh, I think they're very, very impressive. Beautiful anodizing, absolutely no galling on the threads. I could find no imperfections whatsoever on the finish work at all. Very nicely done. So again, my thanks to Jerry and the folks for providing this to me for evaluation. Please remember that it's our responsibility to comply with all state and local firearms regulations, and enjoy your Second Amendment rights, and please shoot safely. Thanks very much, and we'll see you again.